Everyone, Best Ball Draft-a-Palooza is back. We're drafting best ball teams all summer long, every day. Just best ball, best ball, best ball, and more best ball. Today, I'm taking a look at underdog best ball. We did DraftKings on Wednesday, so we're going to jump over to underdog today and draft some teams, right? 20-second clock. It's fast. It's easy. I'm drafting in some season-long best ball teams against some of you guys as well. I think we have a spot left, so if you're DFS Army, hit up Tattoo. We're kind of just creating these leagues in Sleeper. So best ball leagues, one-year thing. So we could take some of the skills we're kind of acquiring here and apply them to a league approach for best ball. Why not? Right? Why not? What's up? JMM Manchego / Maria Stella back and ready to rock. I love it. Guys, couple of I guess headlines. Nothing big. Nothing big. The biggest little best ball tidbit that kind of I've gleaned, as we go through like coaches' words and shit like that, it looks like some Titans people are talking about the rookie Elik Ayomanor as a potential starter on that team. So Ayomanor is one of those guys that's available super, super late in drafts, probably more of a DraftKings than a FanDuel thing. But we know with the Titans, there's no real sort of lock on that WR2 role. We kind of think maybe it was Tyler Lockett, but maybe Elik Ayomanor might be that guy. So that's just one of the little things that are floating around right now. There's talk out of Giants camp that Russell Wilson has a nice connection with Malik Neighbors. Listen, Malik Neighbors is the man. Everybody's going to have a good connection with Malik Neighbors. He's Malik Neighbors. So good news, I guess, but doesn't really move the needle for me. But it's interesting noting. Kansas City insiders are talking about Patrick Daugherty, an insider from Kansas City Chiefs. He's talking about an emphasis this season on big, explosive passing play. So, again, another possibility. Maybe we get back to that explosive passing offense. A lot of people forgot about the Mahomes that was QB1, QB3, kind of QB2 for his first 3 or 4 seasons in the league before the last 2 years where he kind of dropped down to this like average level. Let's just remember what happened. Specifically this past year. KC just played good defense. That was one thing. And the last couple of years, they lost Tyreek Hill, and they just didn't have a lot going on at wide receiver. I feel like that's all changing. The return of Rashee Rice, the breakout of Xavier Worthy, the health of Hollywood Brown, who's a wonderful WR3. I think that combination, plus sort of the lackluster running game that they saw last year, I'm not sure that'll continue. I'm not sure that's a reasonable thing, but it is noteworthy. So I think we want to pay attention to the Chiefs. I think we want to pay attention to the possibility of building some Mahomes stacks. They're really easy to build. And probably something we want to check out in some of these drafts just because that potential. So Elik Ayomanor, potential late round wide receiver, and of course, the possibility of a bounce back year for Mahomes with the emphasis on the pass, with the new, much better overall wide receiver corps. Of course, with that being said, Kelsey's still out, hanging out with T-Swizz. He's not in any kind of shape. I just saw a video of him out with T-Swizz just making out at the bar, hanging out, having a good time. Listen, I get it. I'm cool with it. No hate here, only love. All right, you guys ready to draft some best ball teams? 20-second clock. Let's start with my favorite. We got to do an eliminator every single time. I feel like the eliminator is going to be the bread and butter. I want to see helmets up top. The eliminator, we've been doing the eliminator again and again and again. We'll do like a poodle or a corgi after this, right? We'll do one of the normal ones. The eliminator is a format where you do not need to stack. Simply the worst team gets eliminated, or the bottom half of teams get eliminated every single week in this format. You need a lot of bullets in here. For every week that you get by, your money just starts growing exponentially. By week 4, you're in the money. By week 7 or 8, you're making $500, $600, $700. So I like this contest. I want to put a bunch of entries in there. let's do a 20-second run. Now, I don't know if drafting early is going to be beneficial or negative to this guy. It might be negative. It might be the people who draft later have an advantage in round 2 or 3, or maybe not. Maybe not. But let's let it ride. The Eliminator, $10 entry, 20-second pick, all set. Let's hit confirm and fetching my draft. Okay. All right, it worked. Now, I kind of came up with a cool thing that we're going to show on screen. So credit to my boy Sislowski. Watch what we do here on screen, but we're going to be able to show the draft board in full on screen throughout this draft. So hopefully a little more visually interesting and entertaining for everybody. We'll see. We are filling up this Eliminator. So, one of the other things that I've been working on, guys, is, I'm constantly adjusting the ranking sheet, but I just went back in and started doing a re-ranking of everything. So we're going to kind of be redoing the draft kit on the DFS Army website. Yeah, it's going to be, are we going to get a lot of people in here? We got 3 more spots waiting. And the Eliminator, I love it drafting against you guys. So here's my thing. Like, yeah, I'm doing a Draft-a-Palooza. The whole idea is come in here, let's draft together, let's have some fun. The flip side is, does it maybe make it a little trickier for me to like have players that I like fall to me? Maybe, but maybe that's a good thing. I'm getting those guys in my, non-televised draft. So maybe in these, it helps me switch it up a little bit. Who knows? Who knows? So Eliminator, we've got 3 spots. Looks like 3 spots still waiting to fill here. So we'll fill some time talking about some of these other fantasy football notes. There's some buzz around Nick Chubb in Houston. It's kind of coming in and maybe slowing down how good Mixon could be. And I agree with it. I have to be, Joe Mixon is pretty good, but he's also old. Now you got Nick Chubb on that team. And so is Mixon really, how did Mixon really get it done last year? He actually scored a ton of touchdowns. It was shocking, actually, how well Joe Mixon played last year. But, can he keep it up? Will he lose some touches to Nick Chubb? Because there's no one else really to threaten over there. They have a rookie, but, that's not really anything to worry about too much. So, yeah, I think Nick Chubb will take some carries away or not. We'll see what kind of health he's looking like. I'm also hearing, again, we continue to, I'm going to promote concern about RJ Harvey. Did I look into Fast Draft? You know what? They contacted me, Soups. They contacted me, so I got to get back in touch with those guys. They contacted me, though, and they're asking me to mention what they're up to. So I've just got to get back in touch with them. I haven't played it, but it seems like a cool format, especially if I can get a draft in like 5 or 6 minutes. Imagine we did an hour, we got 5 drafts in. That's pretty interesting. So I'll keep looking into that. Thank you for reminding me. Thoughts on keeping Chuba or Bucky in the 6th round or Caleb in the 10th? I mean, Polak, I'm glad you're asking me this. Bucky, you got to keep Bucky for sure. Forget Caleb. It's a 10 team. Who cares about the quarterback? That's not super draft. You keep Bucky in the 6th. You probably keep Chuba in the 6th too, if you're allowed to keep more than one. So Bucky would be, of course, the top choice, and then Chuba, you would keep him as well. But definitely Bucky, and definitely not Caleb. I like Caleb this year. Caleb's one of my favorites this year. I should do a quarterback video. There's Ray. What's up, Reza? We are full, by the way, and it looks like I am picking 1.9. So I'm going to give you my new view. Check this out. You're going to like it. Hang on. Let me just switch this up. So we are going to now show. Let's go. Here it is. Okay. We're going to show the draft board. There we go. All right. So I'm going to let's see here. All right. We're doing some technical stuff here. Hang on. Let's get the top of it in there so we can see it. Yep. There we go. Okay. Update layout. There we go. There's UCF. Are you guys, is everybody in here? Did you guys all make it in? So let's see who's in the draft here. I will be up on the pick in a little bit. So yeah, let's see who's in the draft here with us. We've got UCF in there. We've got Marion John, JMM. What's up, my brother? Fungul's with us, the Polak. We got Soups in there. So nice group here drafting together, and Ivan Drago at the corner. So a nice group drafting here, guys. Let's go. All right, here we go. Pretty chalk start. Pretty chalk start indeed for this format. Puka leaves me Derrick Henry. That's a big mistake. You know I'm taking him. Oh, come on, Tattoo. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? You know it's noon. You got to set the alarm. By the way, got to set the notification button here on the DFS Army YouTube channel. When you're watching these, get that notification bell going. It sends you like an email when we're about to go live with one of these. A little notification. Send you a mail. Got to do that. All right. So Fungul takes Malik Neighbors. We love Malik. Is this moving slower than I thought? Like, oh, Soups is just taking up the full clock. That's what's going on. I'm like, wait, why is this moving so slow? Yeah, Brian Thomas. There we go. So we'll check out that other game. I got to get back to those guys. I totally forgot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Got to subscribe. Let me subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more content coming out all summer long. So this isn't it. This is not it. It's not just Draft-a-Palooza. We're going to have rankings coming out. Here we go. I'm on the clock. And hey, listen, if you're going to leave me Bucky, man, it's hard to say no. But Amon-Ra, Arsby, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it a little different this time. All right, I switched it up. I usually take Bucky in that spot. But you know what? I got so much Bucky this year. He's coming out of my fucking head. And a lot of my Bucky shares actually came in late round 2. So the fact that he's going early round 2, like I have a lot of Bucky late round 2 shares. That's what I'm saying. JMM, double down. Yep, the Sunday special show. We got a lot of stuff coming out though. Guys, the biggest thing of the summer to pay attention to, I think, especially for DFS Army members and anybody who plays DFS and you're into it, starting probably August, I'm going to do the back test. And the back testing that we do is basically DFS focused. We go back and we rerun all of the lineups and tournaments from 2024, every single slate. We just kind of get the memories back of what happened in 2024. It's really big. It's really important for us. So we get all our memories back of kind of like what happened in 2024. How did the slates go? How did DFS go? What were the settings that we used in the optimizer to try to take down tournaments? What settings can I use and repeat? We're going to look at full slates. We're going to look at half slates. Will there be a WNBA for Jesus? Not this year, Soups. You know, I'm not going to rule it out for the future. WNBA has grown because of Caitlin. What's up? It's like the Caitlin show plus some other girls who aren't that good at basketball. That's what WNBA is, right? So maybe next year. But right now, we don't have a projection model for WNBA that I'm comfortable with. We might have something in there, but yeah, if there's enough demand. We need the members. Go out, tell your friends. DFS Army is the place to be. Speaking of DFS Army, another thing I want to mention, we're about to do our 12-month NFL package special. So stay tuned for that. It's really the best way to do NFL. And I think we're going to have some, this year we're going to, you know, we have year-round football coverage, not just NFL, but, you know, CFL and UFL. There's some other leagues we cover as part of that. And It's much better to do the full year subscription to DFS Army NFL if you're kind of into that sort of thing. All right. I'm up on the clock. Let's see what's going on. Yep. See, I've been wanting to go stud QB as well. So now we got our stud QB, we got our stud running back, we got our stud wide receiver. Again, eliminator format, need big scores every week. When you take an early quarterback, you have to wait. You got to wait. Oh, yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about, Ray. I know exactly. She is smoking hot. The enforcer. And finally, somebody stepped up for Caitlin. Dude, where are your teammates? Women, listen, I know there's ladies watching. I love the ladies, and especially ladies who watch fantasy football and are into that. Love you, all of you. You're awesome. But I do have to say, I'm watching, when you watch WNBA, if this was a men's team sport, when you see all of these people just like bullying Caitlin Clark and smashing her in the face and like, yeah, fuck you, bitch, and all this, and how you like that and all that, and slamming on her and poking her and all of this, that would never happen in a men's team because other dudes would step up and smash that person, especially like the 8th, 9th, 10th person on the bench. Their job is to come in like Bill Cartwright style, come out and smash someone. You know what I'm saying? It's Sophie Cunningham. Yeah. So like, and now finally one of the girls, they're all jealous. They don't want to, all the girls are really Terry McLaurin, Fungal. Okay. So all the girls just want to smash her in the face. So finally, Sophie Cunningham comes out and she's like, enough. I'm your new teammate. And if you're going to get abused, I am going to abuse back. Right. And so that makes sense. Like, but here's what happened for Sophie Cunningham. She was just doing it out of like being an awesome teammate. She's like, hey, yeah, she's a hammer. She's also smoke show. Like, I'm not into women basketball players looks wise. That ain't my thing, Kevin Carter. Not my thing. But I got to give it to that Sophie Cunningham. She's pretty smoking. Yeah, she's pretty smoking. Yeah, like a hockey chick. But no, she just got that masculine energy. I don't want to say masculine energy, but she's got that fucking energy. Like, yeah, dude, no. You smash my teammate, I'm going to smash you. And if this was an NBA team, if this was men, it would be expected. They would just do that. That's my teammate. Motherfucker going to hit my teammate. But instead, with Caitlin Clark, it seems like the girls on her team are like, yeah, hit that bitch. Like they don't even care. They're just as like, oh, we hate Caitlin because she's good and everybody knows her. The hell kind of stupid reason is that? But that's what it is. That's genuinely what's going on. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. So good for Sophie Cunningham. Guys, you liking seeing the draft board on screen the whole time? I figured out some technical shit. I think it's much better of an experience watching the draft this way. Thank you, Alan Sislowski from RotoWire, my boy. That's my boy. Suggesting that. Call me up, said Kev, your videos are good, but I'm just not down with how it shows on screen. I'm like, all right, I can switch it up. Yeah, see? Okay. Yeah, everybody's saying it. That's you got to give me that feedback, guys. Yeah, you know what? It wasn't so much. I know I like looking at the board also, so I think it's better too, but I only have 2 screens and I got to be able to see your comments. I guess, yeah, Kevin Carter, this is underdog, bro. I got to be able to see your comments. I got to be able to see the players available, but I figured out a way to just show this screen as a separate tab. Yeah, it's cool. So it's just more for just the viewing experience to see it, but we should be talking to some of these plays. So I got my 3rd running back off the board here. And again, you listen, I'm saying it every time. Some of you guys are listening, doing what I'm doing. Some of you aren't. I don't care. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anyway. Don't listen to me. But in this format, the way I think about it, in the eliminator, every week, half the field, on underdog, I think the best thing you could do is have a bunch of really good running backs. Like I just, that's just what it is. They score touchdowns. Those are the guys that are going to get you there. All right, we're back on the clock here. I've got 3 running backs. I really need wide receivers here. The Riddler? Yeah, we're going Riddler. If I can get the pick off here. So I went with Calvin Ridley, the Riddler. We might build a little stack there with Eric Ayominator, since that was the whole discussion at the beginning of this. Yeah, and that's right. And it's better that if you're not looking at my screen, certainly helps me be able to like look at players here without having everybody necessarily watching. But I'll give you somewhat of an idea of what I'm thinking about most of the time. There goes Swift. Swift has been rising up draft boards. I think it's appropriate. Think about this. And actually, it got me thinking about the possibility of like Travis Etienne not being terrible this year. And with Swift, it's basically, listen, new offensive coordinator, new scheme, an offensive coordinator that knows Swift. Swift knows that offense already. There's some things there, I guess, that kind of like make sense. So that's the main thing, right? So you get Swift. Now, with no competition for touches, does anybody like Swift? No, we don't like Swift. Swift's annoying, right? I hate Swift. Hey, he's been bad. He's a disappointment. He was a first-round draft pick. Where he never turned into Bijan. That's terrible. Okay. But he's still starting for a team. He's a year 5. Like, there's no competition for touches. So I think Swift is a good play. I think he's a good pick. He's one of the last running backs that go off the board that I think have any sort of like week 1, let's call it week 1 equity. Swift, the last little group of them that are kind of starters. He's right at the very, very, very end. And yeah, there's a lot of cognitive bias against Swift, and I get that. I totally get that. That it is sensical. It makes sense. There should be. That cognitive bias should be there. Really? I was going to take Debo for the stack. Again, stacks are not that important, but bro, who is Chad? Fucking Chad. Jesus. Fucking Chad, bro. Really? Really, Chad? I took Diggs again. These are names that I just keep having. I think if Diggs is healthy this year, how does he have a bad year? And we like Drake May. He has no one else to throw to. Okay. Right? Who the hell? If Diggs is healthy, he's probably going to have a good year. We all remember he got hurt last year. Is he recovered? I don't know. Smoking, he's snorting pink shit. Okay, fine. With hose on a boat. I get it. I get it. But that kind of player demands targets. I promise you he demands targets. Those kind of players demand the football. They're like, bro, give me the rock. Bo Nix for Drago. Okay. I'm sitting with one stud QB. We got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a very, very neutral build so far. Just looking at the draft board, see what's available. I really want a tight end here. Oh, all right. I'm going to go Evan Ingram. He's somebody I've been wanting to get exposure to. I was going to take Kelsey, but Fangul, bro. Even not seeing what I was going to do. You got it done. Fangul. Good pick. I was about to take him. There goes Darnell Mooney, another really good pick. Pearsall's gone. You guys knew Marion John. I know you're watching these, and that's great. Not to say that I think we're all going to be super sharp. Like, the sharper, the better. Tattoo, what is the buy-in for that best ball league that we're doing? Did we decide? I think we could do a bunch of those leagues, like friendly leagues, 25 or 50 bucks. As long as it's all league safe and we don't have to touch any funds for anybody, fuck, man, I'll do as many as you want. I like them. I'll enter lots of them too. Like I'll be in those. It's 25. So yeah, there we go. 25 league. Tattoo, keep those coming, man. Let's just keep doing those. They're fun. Should I create? Yeah, they're sleepers, so whatever. But they're fun to do. I like doing those things. All right, let's see where we're at. Scroll down a little bit here. Baker Mayfield goes in round 9. Mahomes there. So at the onset, I talked about the possibility of an interesting Mahomes stack. So I hope, let's see if anybody can pull that off. I should have tried to pull it off, but we'll do it another time when it kind of sets itself up that way. All right, I have 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 3 running backs. We're coming back up on our next pick. Let's take a look at the running back group. We're in the backup zone for the most part. Don't really need another starter. Just need some upside. Let's see here. Wide receiver. DFS League is a whole other thing, Ray. But that's just what they're doing is just best ball, normal best ball, seasonal fantasy football stuff. Just normal season-long fantasy football. All right. Should we get another? Oh, Javante, Marion John. You're like my my player whisperer over there, just sniping names that I like. All right, Emeka Egbuka. Yeah, there you go. I love it. Let's hope we have a good year, with some of these names. I need like Javonte Williams. That is, that's jumping ADP a little bit. I've been jumping ADP a little bit on him just because, I don't know, give me a starting running back that late. I just always like, it's just appealing to me. I can get a starter and it's that late. It's just appealing. We see some names dropping here. I've got Jaden Daniels. So like the QB position, I just don't really worry about it all that much when I have a stud like that. We're back on the board, back on the clock. Okay, I'm going to grab, we're in pick 112. This guy's at ADP 140, so I don't want to do that. Let's go with, fuck it. I don't have a lot of Ayuk this year. I've been avoiding him, but this drop is getting a little bit ridiculous here. A couple rounds beyond where Pearsall and Juwan Jennings went. So I think that's where did Juwan go? Yeah. Juwan Jennings going in round 6. You got Pearsall in round 7. Ayuk at this point now in round 10. That's maybe a little too far. Maybe it's dropping like it's hot. Dropping a little too far. Let's see who else is in this draft with us here. We got Razor in there. I didn't even realize you're in here, Ray. I did not even notice. Jared Goff and Mahomes, nice little pairing. Let's see what we got here. Rays. Yeah, Mahomes and Goff late. Gibbs, Chase Brown, love Chase. Ramondre. Trio of solid wide receivers. Nice draft so far. See UCF in here. Got Josh Allen. Need that second quarterback at some point, but with a stud like Allen, you don't have to rush it. Bowers, stud tight end. Ooh, always dangerous. So, yeah, starting off slow at running back in favor of some of these other groups. We'll see how that goes. Remember, this is the Eliminator, UCF. You got to be scoring every week. There's no time to wait. There's no time to wait for your running back to start after an injury. You just need to get going. We're almost up on the clock. I know who I'm looking at. Let's see if JMM takes him from me again. Let's see. Don't do it. Oh, it's unbelievable. How did you know? That's unbelievable. It's almost funny. I did not like that pick. Threw me for a loop, taking Trey Benson ahead of ADP. Oh, I'm on the clock in our draft? Oh boy. Yeah, I can't look at that while drafting here. I was trying to trade up in that dynasty league that we're starting up. Everybody's ignoring my offers. Like everybody's like, no. So I said, all right, fine by me. Probably get my guy without having to trade up now. And how does that make you feel? Feel like shit. T-Law goes, Penix. So this is the QB run happening right now. See, this is what happens when you start to see a group go in a row. You got T-Law, Penix, Herbert's still sitting there. So we're going to get that little run going. And after this next group, the tier is gone. And then you kind of tear down significantly. Running back group is pretty much down to all backups at this point anyway. So nothing that much to see there. Not a bad spot to get your second quarterback if you're inclined to. And the tight ends studs are starting to float away as well. Let's see here. Get a little Jolo going. Hope that, Big thing is pay attention to these bye weeks. Bye weeks are not as important in the eliminator format. I mean, my perfect world, you want bye weeks that are further out so that you can get a lot further before, this starts to be a burden, right? But you want to kind of avoid those super early bye weeks if you can. But that's about it. I have 2 quarterbacks now, Love and Daniels. That's enough, I think, for this format. I don't really need any more. Could still, use some firepower everywhere else. Definitely at running back, too. Only 3 running backs so far. You kind of want to find these names that will be relevant. Let's see, we're pick 143. Here's another little thing I do, guys. I don't know if you do this. This is what I do when I'm doing these. So I have the ADP open here, and you have to kind of assume that that's about where the players are going. You got to work with ADP. And, so I'm scrolling. I'm not just using my personal rankings. I'm scrolling through the ADPs, and then I look up top here on the screen, and you can see when you look at the draft bar, what pick number it's at. So if I see ADP is 141 and we're at pick, 148, I'm like, all right, that guy's not going to last very long. Like he'll go in the next couple picks, right? Or if I'm looking at a guy and they're showing like ADP 160 and I'm thinking, oh, I want to take this guy. Well, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait till the next round because I've got, a bunch of picks left until I can take that guy. And that's kind of what I was doing with Benson before, but he just ended up just going. So we're at pick, let's see, right now, 152. Again, I'm getting a tight end here. I'm going to go with, let's just go with Fergie. Why not? So we got our second tight end. I've got my 2 QBs, 2 tight ends, 3 running backs, 6 wide receivers. This next spot is somewhere where I need to be taking a running back. And it's really just like, all right, let me get a guy in there. It's late in the draft. There are no starters left. I really have to rely on the starters that I got, but we'll take some injury backup type of guys with our next pick and just hope that I can, catch the right one. I don't know how else to put it. One of the things we talked about on Friday, we will be doing a second one. Yes, we'll do 2 of these on Underdog. The second one, probably like the puppy or something along those lines. But so we'll do like a puppy or a schnauzer or one of those. There goes Wandy Robinson, MT Closet. takes Wandy, my guy. Love Wandy, guys. You know it. You know who I love already. I love Wandy. I got to do a video about why I love Wandy so much. There goes Cam Ward. Remember, in this format, peoples, correlation, not something that matters all that much. Does it matter a little bit? Sure. I mean, could it help you get through a week? Maybe. But like overall, does not matter. We're just trying to get through the week. We're going up against teams. The more correlated they build them, the more chances of catching them on the bad week where their correlated plays don't work. And you might be able to jump past a team that's better than yours on these head-to-head matchups. The way the Eliminator works, week 1, it's this pod. We are up against each other. Top 6 will move on. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in here. I hope all of us move on. Let's go, right? But only 6 of us will move on. And then from there, you're just randomly matched up with an opponent every week. And do you beat them? Do you not? There's a luck factor involved, like your opponent. What if I score, like, let's say the mean score for the week is like 120, and you put up a 135 or 140, but the person they happen to put you up against this one time, had a great day. They had a 40-pointer from, this guy or that guy, and, you just get eliminated. So you're like, fuck that. That sucks. Right? Fuck that. We'll do a pit ball. Fine. Whatever you guys want, we'll do. Or fuck this, the whole thing. Well, you might also get lucky when the mean score is 120. You put up just a 110. You should have been eliminated, but you get a turd opponent who puts up a 95. You move on. That's why I think you got to do a lot of these, because I think there's a luck factor. There's a luck factor in the Eliminator where having multiple lineups will be helpful to smooth over the luck factor. And the luck factor is, exactly what I just said. Who knows? Who knows who you're paired up against? So you want to get as many opportunities to also squeak by where you don't deserve to squeak by that one week. Right. And then, okay, I squeaked by. Thank you. We got a lot of wide receivers. Still good tight ends. No, not really. Running backs are shit, but I'll grab another upside play here, Marshawn Lloyd. Marshawn Lloyd, what's my argument for taking Marshawn Lloyd? Well, I'll tell you. Josh Jacobs was loaded with volume last year. Loaded. They just ran him into the ground. 25, 26, 28 touches per game. Now, everybody's worried about other names like Saquon Barkley, who was loaded up with all of this volume, and rightfully so. There's some concerns there that players who are overloaded in volume one year, the next year they kind of tail off a little bit. Fine, I get it. Okay. Why is that not the same thing for Josh Jacobs? He had a ton of work, has had injuries and nagging issues before in his career, but even if he had in round 14 or round 15, 16, round 16, that's a dice roll you don't mind taking. So Marshawn Lloyd is not the kind of guy that's going to help us get past the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. He's, probably not going to be helpful there. But if this team makes it past the same thing with Jalen Wright, probably not super helpful early on, which is why we took the 3 running backs really, really early, but maybe later. Maybe later in the season, he helps us get through a week. So that's the thought process. Anthony Richardson, no one took him. Get a bunch of backup type running backs left here. I see Ford goes. I hate the Ford pick. This is one of the worst picks I think that you can make. Even this far into the draft, Ford is a terrible pick because he's not even locked into the backup role. What are you really gaining there? Like, he's not even a lock button going to be the backup. Yeah, we'll do, what do you want, a pit bull, a poodle? Whatever you guys want, we'll do that next. So pit bull, advanced format, 2 of 12, 1 of 6, 1 of 5, and a couple hundred person final. Is that like $12? Poodle is what, a $3 one? I don't know. We'll look at it when it comes back around, or when we're there. We're almost done with this draft, guys. I'll try to keep the post-mortem as brief as I can on these drafts, so we can get a second one in. You know, I'm pretty much talking through what I'm doing as I'm doing it, so I think you guys should be pretty aware of kind of what I'm thinking. Taking Theo there. I like taking lots of tight ends, as you know. Tight ends for two reasons, right? Tight end is so up and down that it's good to have a lot of them. I mean, that's really what it is. Plus, it's the only position group where by this final kind of round or two, you're still really getting players that are going to be on the field, like that are starters. Like if I'm taking a running back here, it's just a bunch of garbage backups. If I'm taking a quarterback here, it's even more garbage. Like Russell Wilson, okay, fine, he's a starter, but like, is he really going to help my team win? You know, maybe. I guess Russell Wilson could be okay if he's still there when I pick, right, at QB, so fine. Wide receiver group, it's just a whole lot of nothing. No, Ford is definitely not the starter. They drafted a starter, Judkins, and they drafted a second guy in, I think the last name is, I can't remember his last name. I'm taking Russell Wilson. I just did that. But no, Ford is not starting. Quinshon Judkins is starting. That's number one. Number two, they drafted another running back that might wind up being the backup. I think Ford will get some snaps. But the other thing is, Cleveland sucks. Like, do you really want running backs on the shittiest team? Probably the worst team in the league. So it's already a bad scene. I like the Sean Tucker pick there for Chad or Chaz. He is not in this draft with us, but I like that. Yeah, Samson. Yeah, that's right. So, and they have a second guy, Samson. So who's to say Ford is even the backup? Could be Samson. So now you really need, even if you're right and an injury happens to Judkins and you think Ford is going to, no, now it's Samson. So that's the problem. I only want running backs who aren't starters, that if the starter goes down, they are going to get the role, which is why I took Jalen Wright, because Jalen Wright will win you this league if Devon Achane goes down. Same thing with Trey Benson, who I wanted to take. These are guys that will win you the league. Yeah, and well, this is why Saints being terrible is they're probably even worse than Cleveland. But yeah. So oh man. I don't know if I like, we talked about this this approach. Should you handcuff your running backs in best ball? And for the most part, I don't think that is a technique that's going to help you win a big tournament. So I wouldn't necessarily look to do that. Although you're getting Samson so cheap, it really is fine. But just keep in mind, that's a pretty shitty offense to begin with. Like, you're not really getting an exciting offense there. It's Cleveland this year, and they stink. Do a quick run through of this draft for everybody here. So just the people in the draft here. We got Razor, kind of, I'm not going to call this a zero RB, just the two running backs early. Got some strong wide receiver group. First QB off the board, Mahomes. I love that. So, I mean, this is a good overall group. Higgins, Jamo, Smith, Judy, Samwise, Laporta. Get a stud tight end in there. Ramondre, I'm not big on him, but at this point in the draft, you take what you can get. Goff and Sam Darnold. This is a really good trio of quarterbacks that late in the draft, as far as ADP goes. Try to make up for the lack of early running back. So, I mean, Ray, I've seen you do this a lot. So if I'm looking at Ray, puppy winner, got to respect it. You're big on kind of like taking a lot of these running backs late, a couple of running backs early, really studly group of wide receivers, tight end, and then hope that your running back sort of handcuff types will step up, like Charbonnet style, where he gave you 4 elite games last year, or 5. Maybe Ramondre does the same thing, gives you 4 or 5 super elite games this year, if the starter goes down. UCF is in here with us. Let's see here. Josh Allen, Brock Bowers. So this is an interesting start, going with stud tight end, stud luxury QB, right? luxury tight end, luxury QB. A lot of times those drafts don't look very good. Let's see how the rest of it looked here. Lamb, Harrison, fine. I don't love Harrison this year, but I like it. I like him where you got him. And then, I like him where you got him, definitely. RJ Harvey, Pollard. So, try to make up for the lack of running backs by taking a bunch of them. Let's see how this one goes. I'm worried about the running back spot here. Harvey and Pollard, Mason and Najee. This is a tough group to rely on. Might not get past week 1. Or you could have these monster weeks from these other guys that carry you, and then these kind of Mason could be a league winner if things break a certain way. Marion John, McCaffrey, Bucky, Lamar, Moore, Tet, Swift. This is a great start. This is spectacular. 5-6 picks. Really good. Pearsall, Darnell Mooney, Javonte. This looks like I'm drafting. I love everything about this draft. Javonte, Trey Benson there. I wanted him. Javonte, somebody I was trying to get as well. So, I was waiting on these guys and just sniping them like a fucking sniper. Goddard, Isaiah Likely, Brenton Strange as the trio of tight ends late. I love this. If you're going to take a luxury early quarterback, it's probably best to do something like this at tight end and just get some late ones. Dante Thornton in there, a little sleeper. Really good draft. Marion John, a.k.a. JMM. Really good. Let's see. My draft went a little different than my usual ones, but we went stud running back, and then we got Amon-Ra and Jaden Daniels. Amon-Ra here. I could take McConkey. I could have taken Nico. They're all about the same, but this is kind of a decent fall for Amon-Ra, and that's why I took him. London went a little soon. Things went a little different, and I took me some Amon-Ra. And we got our stud quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Once you take a stud luxury quarterback, again, you kind of have to do that or tight end. It's tough to do both. And once I've done that, I really am going to wait on the rest of my QBs, which you'll see that I did. We paired up Henry with Omarion and Trevion, so a couple of rookies that I think will have big roles on their team. Hopefully this doesn't burn me in those early weeks as they quote-unquote ease them in. Sometimes the rookies take a minute to get up to speed, and that will definitely not be good for this format. This format probably favors veterans, and mentally I'm going to keep that in mind going forward, that this is a format that definitely, you don't have 3 weeks for somebody to get up to speed. Ridley, Diggs, we're getting these starting WR1s late. Igbuga, I love Evan Ingram this year, but we backed him up with a couple more names. Jolo, my second QB off the board in round 12. Could I have waited a little longer? Probably not. By the time this next pick came around, Geno was there. I could have gotten Cam Ward here. So I could have maybe squeezed it out if I had waited here. Let's see, 136. I took Jolo. Who else could I have taken? Really, nobody good went. Wandy. So, no regrets. No regrets at all. Got Pat Bryant in there, a couple of upside plays. Right here we got Russell Wilson. Could have taken another tight end there, but really there was no one available. Fungul in here with us. Everybody, this is the Army. This was crazy. Me, Polak, Soups, and Ivan Drago. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Got Marion to 6, 7 of us in here. Only 6 can advance, people. That's doing the recap takes forever with so many people. All right, Fungul. Let's see. We got Taylor Hall and Caleb. I think it's a good trio of running backs early. Can't go wrong. Malik Neighbors is the man, of course, and Hunter, Downs, all really good. Love Kelsey there. I was going to take him. Ended up settling for Evan Ingram. First QB off the board is Dak. Then Daniel Jones. Bro, did you really do that? You just went Dak and Daniel Jones at QB? Risky. But this team is super deep everywhere else. I love every pick. Andrews, Brown, McMillan, great. Tillman, great. Even Braylon Allen scores touchdowns. So a lot of really, really, I think all these people are going to contribute to the team. You need a big year out of Dak or to get lucky a little bit there. Just one thing about this, Polak, bro, just keep this in mind. This is the eliminator. You cannot have a bye week. So, let's say Daniel Jones is not the starter. the bye week for Dak, you're going to be done for Dak. That will knock you out. So you have to have a backup plan. You cannot have a 0 ever. You will not advance. Soups. No, we're not doing Andrew. This is underdog today, my man. Underdog day. We did DraftKings on Wednesday. Going back to underdog today. We're doing one more after this, so I'm just trying to get through this real quick so we can do another one. Soups. Yeah. I mean, I think this is a risky start, Soups, with just Mixon and Montgomery and Tyrone Tracy for week 1. I'm really curious to see how this one works out. Really curious. Obviously, really good wide receivers here because that's how it's going to work out. You got really good ones. Thomas, Drake London, Mike Evans, great. Zay Flowers, K-Shaq is good. So really good wide receivers, but a lack of talent at running back. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, just 2 quarterbacks for you, huh? This is an interesting one. I don't mind the quarterbacks. I don't mind a lot of this, but you probably need one of these running backs to emerge, maybe even before the season starts. And then you get like, let's say somebody got hurt and then like all of a sudden like Garendo, McCaffrey gets hurt and all of a sudden Garendo starts going in round like 2, 3, or 4. Wouldn't that be interesting for these early drafts? I guess that's a cool thing to do in these early drafts. It's like almost if a starting running back gets hurt, we can't anticipate who that would be, but imagine like, I don't know, training camp. And I don't want to say a name. I don't want to speak words onto something happening. But yeah, I mean, Mitchell could be the starter in KC. Who that? What Mitchell? Who's Mitchell? What are you talking about? Talk to me. Tell me more. Who's this Mitchell character you speak of? Finally, Ivan Drago, Janty, HN, and Hubbard are the 3-pack. JSN, Waddle, and DK Metcalf. It's really good. This is a good start. Very balanced. Bo Nix, Penix, and Gino. Here we got Travis Etienne. Imagine Travis Etienne just is awesome this year. Could totally happen. By the way, one word out of training camp that Etienne's our guy. That Liam Cohen comes out and he's like, no, Etienne's our guy. Love him. Love what I'm seeing. This guy will go from a 10th round pick to a 5th round pick overnight. All right. All right, guys. There we go. Let's go back to it. Let's do another one. Yeah. So let's go to the lobby here and remind me again. Somebody said the poodle, we got the corgi, we got the pit bull, $20 entry, the greyhound, the big dog, weekly winners. That's the by the way, shout out to Fantasy Fling doing the weekly winner show with Rich Rebar this past week. Make sure to go check that one out. Good guest. Scott Fishbowl satellite. Nope. The greyhound is there. The pit bull. Somebody said the pit bull. What was the other one? Pitbull, $20 entry. I feel like you guys aren't going to want to do it. So let's see. Weekly winners, you play it every year. Yeah, I mean, weekly winners, cool format. Definitely very much a DFS contest wrapped into best ball. It's interesting. Marathon I like because you don't really have to. Marathon is kind of the same style. Let's go with the corgi. It's a single entry. Let me see if I'm in here already. Do I already have one? I'm going to try it, guys. Just give me a sec. Oh, you wanted the poodle? Okay. All right, here we go. We'll go the poodle. Actually, that's 20 max. That's better because I think I might have a corgi already. All right, going the poodle. 22nd pick. UCF Jaguar called it. LFG, 22nd per pick, 3, 2, 1, confirm. All right, we're in the poodle, guys. $7 entry. A bunch of spots open. You got plenty of, but this is a 20 entry max. This is a good one. 20 entry max contest. You guys filled this super fast, so I'm a little scared to see how many from this stream will be in this draft with us. Oh my God. Bobby Wow's here. What's up? What would Bobby Wow do? Fade the chalk. I unfriend you on the poll. What's up, Bobby Wow? UCF, Fungul, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm picking after the gauntlet. There's a gauntlet here, 1 through 5. Jeez. And then at the very end, we got JMM and Soups. Where's Ray? Did you get in here, Razor? Razor didn't get in, man. You guys filled this too quick. J-Rob might be one of us, though. All right, so we got a big group in here. Let's put the draft board back up on the screen. Hang on, I'm going to switch it. We're going to do the big board visuals. Thank you, my man, Pleasurehead, Alan Sislowski, for straightening me out on this one. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so we've got... Whoa, get back here. There we go. Yeah, we got Bobby Wow on the board. How do you like that? Let's go. All right. And Bobby Wow starts with Chase, UCF, the unconventional pick of Justin Jefferson. And it is a DFS Army fucking gauntlet right ahead of my pick. Like, what is going on here? Definitely time to kick it with the Army crew. I usually go... I usually do like to go running back in this format. But you know what? Fuck it. CD Lamb. What can Lamb do for you? There's Bobby Wow. Everybody loves Bobby Wow. Everyone. That's known. Bobby Wow's in our Dynasty League drafting old guys. Like, I don't care. Bobby Wow's like, he's 30? Fine, I'll take him. Bam. In the Dynasty League. Here we go. Soups. Derrick Henry at pick 10 is always a great spot. So well done. Janty, 12. So pretty standard round one, people. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Standard stuff in round one. Let's go. Achan, all the upside in the world. Now, guys, unlike the last one, in this contest, this will be a first get to the playoffs, and we will all be going up against one another. So this pod will face each other all the way up, I believe. Actually, I don't know how it works. Yeah, Gibbs went a little later than usual. Yeah. That might be on me for taking CD Lamb, though. It's my fault. But in this case, the goal initially is to get to the playoffs, and then like they have this playoff format that's pretty cool. Yeah. Buck, motherfucker. All right, so yeah, they have a playoff format that's pretty cool. On Underdog, I you know what? I can't even remember how it works. Somebody remind me how this one works. Oh, yeah, here we go. 2 of 12, 1 of 6, 1 of 5. So if you make it past 2 people from this pod will make it to the playoffs. And then you do a pod against 6 people, and you got to be 1 of 6. And then you do a pod against 5 people, and you got to be 1 of 5. Right? So we're all up against each other. Only 2 of us will advance. 12 men enter, 2 men leave. Made the best man win, as they say, Maria Stella. You can't allow Bijan and Bucky together. Nope. I was annoyed enough, Ivan, at you taking Bijan. I thought I'd get a gift of Bijan at my pick. I was like, yeah, I think Bijan can go 1 or 2 overall. Like, Bijan's the man. So I'm kind of annoyed that you took my guy. You took my guy. But where I was going with it before is that it's important to understand that in this format, correlation does matter. We do want to correlate. We do want that. So we want to have teams that kind of work well together, that are correlated with one another, because the playoffs matter here. And so having a big score in the playoffs is a big deal. Okay. Let's do a quick check here. But yeah, Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, I think, goes a little too high in these drafts as well. People are maybe not. Do you guys think Terry McLaurin falls off a little bit with Deebo Samuel being there now? Because they didn't have anything. They had nothing going on. I took Davante Adams with my pick there. Normally, I'd have. Normally, I come out of the first 3 rounds with 2 running backs, to be clear. But Davante Adams is a touchdown scorer, and yeah, you think it's Deebo drawing the extra coverage? I kind of think it'd be Terry. I don't know. I guess that's a real late first stud QB off the board, so that's an interesting change already. Josh Allen often goes really at the beginning of round 2. So we got him all the way to the end of round 3. Pretty exciting. Again, I took Davante Adams because I really think he could be a touchdown machine. What I'm hoping for is Puka, but in round 3 instead of round 1 or top of round 2, like a cheaper version of Puka. Will we get that? Obviously, I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, in this format, there is definitely benefit to correlation, to building stacks. So we're going to try to do that. We pay attention to what wide receivers you're. So I guess here's another question. There are 2 ways to approach these drafts, guys, and I'm curious to what you guys do. Are you kind of building to a stack where you think about a stack you want to do and then build towards it? Or are you kind of like looking at your team going, all right, I wound up with CeeDee Lamb, I wound up with Davante Adams. You're like, all right, with that guy, I might as well, I got Davante, I might as well take this one. Or I have CeeDee Lamb, I might as well like try to get, a stack built around that team. So I'm wondering how people treat that. It's like, do you let it come to you naturally? Or are you targeting it like, oh, okay, I've got this one guy. So I do think about it a little bit. Like, let's say I had taken Rashee Rice. And, now I'm seeing Xavier Worthy's kind of floating around. It's my next pick or whatever. I might be like, let me grab him and see if I can get Mahomes in there. Kind of create that stack. So if there's a player in the zone that kind of goes along with what I've got going on, then it's like, let me see. Maybe I'll grab him. So like that's where we're looking at the ADP number and saying, all right, if it's kind of close to ADP, if it's a reasonable pick, then I can get down with it, right? But if it's unreasonable, if I'm just chasing something, then no. But if there's a reasonable way to say, you know what, this kind of does work a little bit, and it works with a stack that I'm trying to build, then I'll show you what I mean here in a moment if certain things fall a certain way. I don't want to talk too much about what I'm doing, but like generally, you're like, yeah, if a guy's around his ADP and it's like a stack, it's correlated versus something that's not correlated, I think it's better. Yeah. Now remember, again, this is that format where you have the playoffs, and stacking does help a little bit more. In the other format, let's see. Man. Yeah, see, this is a stack situation that I normally wouldn't do this, okay? I normally would not, but I'm going to here just because I talked about it. So I'm going to add Pickens in here, and now I have Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, so I have sort of a little bit of a Dak or a little bit of a Dallas combination there. I'm going to be getting Javonte later, so I'll have that whole fucking team. Fact says, was able to get Broncos, Jaguars. Don't force the stack, but I look for it. Yeah, so, yeah. Especially Broncos and Jaguars. Those are really good teams to stack as well. I'm a big fan of Lawrence this year and the combos you can make. I'm definitely a big fan of the Broncos with Nix and Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram, Mims Jr. And so all of those are really buildable. And what I like about those stacks and what I like about what I'm building is you get the quarterbacks late. So you don't have to, like, if I'm taking an early QB, it's kind of a whole different thing. Curl 99. Curl 99. Is that someone who's in here with us? Don't know. We got Marion John. We got Soups. This is a DFS Army extravaganza on Underdog. It's a Draft-a-Palooza. Everybody drafting against each other. Guys, are you doing a lot of drafts like outside of the stream? Or are you just streaming with me? Because, like, you're asking me how many drafts I've got. You've watched every single one. I'm barely doing anything off stream. They're all being streamed. I like the pick of Trevion Henderson there for whoever that just was. Yeah, Trey Henderson. I've got 2 running backs so far. I've got 3 wide receivers that I really like. Only 2 running backs. We'll see what's going on there. Wide receiver group still looks pretty strong across the board. Romo Dunze goes. I'm on the clock. We're at pick 67. Let's take my standard operating procedure guy. I'm telling you, Pearsall, I know it's going to be my downfall this year. I just think this fucking guy is going to outplay his ADP. I just think it's going to happen. Maybe I'll change my mind later in the year. I don't know. So I'll be like, oh, all those June drafts where I thought Pearsall was going to be awesome. And then I stopped drafting him in like August. And then he does become awesome and great. Doing lots of DK. Yeah, listen, I get liking your team better over there. I get that. Yes. Connor is one of those few players that I think you really probably should handcuff that. But I continue to believe that the person, see here, when we think about a GPP, let me take you to a GPP mindset. We're up against 100,000 people, all these different people, right? 50,000, 100,000 people. There's going to be people in that draft, lots of them, that have Benson that don't have Connor. And that's the only reason why I sometimes think that maybe handcuffing is not the best idea for a big tournament. Just because you will be at a disadvantage versus the guy who didn't take Connor. He took somebody else who's productive and has Connor. Now, you might say, well, what if their other players are shit? And that's true, except when you're talking about 100,000 people, what ends up happening is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at that point. You know what? This will be the only share of Quinshon Judkins I have so far this year. So I don't know if this makes sense to you, but that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have 100,000 opponents, every combination of everything is probably there and done. So now you get to the playoffs, right? And you think you're slick because you took James Conner, but you had Benson and Conner gets hurt. And now you got Benson rolling for you. Cool. Except for somebody else in round 5 didn't take Conner, or round 6 or wherever Conner goes. They took someone else, and that person's healthy on their team. Plus they have Benson who's helping their team surge. So I think in general, unless it's like a really cheap stack or a really cheap backup situation, I do think that for the season-long best ball league that we're all doing, yeah, there's a million combos, but people have them. People have them. I've done. Look, if you play DFS, you know whatever fucking crazy ass player you thought could not be in any lineup with any, they have them. They have everything. So, yeah, 800,000 entries. Every combination that in that contest, especially Andrew Nolan, do not handcuff at all. Just don't do it. It will not help you. Take Benson on teams where you don't take Connor. I'm telling you, do not handcuff it. It's just not going to win. I don't know how else to put it. It's just not going to win. There goes Pacheco. I almost took Pacheco instead of who I took. 114 ADP for Dak. Dak is not a QB that I feel like that you want to rely on. It's an acceptable secondary stack situation. Yeah, take Henderson there. That's what I'm saying. And then if Benson comes on late, now you got two guys going for you. Because the guy who takes Benson and Henderson and Benson, he has an edge on you. You're not going to beat him when there's 800,000 of lineups and there's 10,000 people. There's 700,000 people that took Benson that don't have like there are 700. Can't even speak the words. There are 700,000 lineups that took Benson that don't have Connor. Every one of those has an advantage over that team, so you might as well just not do it. Can speak now. All right, here we go. Kelsey. I finally got Kelsey. Finally. Kelsey also. I like him, but not somebody that we want to rely a full season on. But we know that at tight end, there's so many of them available late, I'm fine. But I think Kelsey will give me some big weeks. Yeah. I mean, you have my rankings too, Andrew Nolan. So on DFS Army website, you click season-long best ball rankings. You can look at what I'm doing. I'm constantly adjusting those. So, check it if you want or don't. Do what you got to do. There's Bobby Wow. What would Bobby Wow do? We're about to find out. Mark Andrews and Jaylen Warren for Bobby Wow. Bobby Dubs. Jaylen Warren should play every single week. He should play every week. There goes ETN. Getting to the back end of the available running backs here. Not a whole lot of good left on the board. We got wide receivers. Still plenty of talented wide receivers. I got 4 wide receivers on my team. QBs are starting to melt away. I don't really like the running backs. Ayuk, Keon Coleman goes for Ivan Drago. Evan Ingram's there. Running back, Tyrone. Ayuk. You know what? I'm going to go crazy here and go kind of double partially stud tight end. Let's see if that comes back to haunt me. So with Kelsey and Evan Ingram, dangerous. Both guys have big upside, though. I'm starting to come around to liking Mahomes this year. Like, I'm just coming around to it. After what I read early on as well, but just for a number of reasons, it's kind of coming around to it for me. I don't love Quinshon Judkins. I don't love my pick there. We'll see how that works out. Like I said, me liking it, not liking it means nothing. Like the second the actual season starts, like a lot of this stuff goes out the window. Like, wow, I was really thinking something else would go on, but there it is. Mahomes increases his, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's got so many better wide receivers this year than he's had in a long time with Mahomes. Yeah, and guys, definitely favor your stacks if you can in this format. There's no doubt that is, you want to be stacked. You want to take QBs that overlap with players that you have. I don't know how else to put it. Scataboo. There he goes. He's the scat man. We'll see how Scataboo's career goes. Should be interesting. Are people too excited about like a 4th round rookie running back? Answer, probably. Once again, Bobby Wow's in the draft with us, but Caleb Williams was not to be. The marriage was not to be. Not today. What do you say? Oh, really? You took Brock? All right. Well, you left me no choice. So we completed our Dak Prescott stack. What's up? Wagwan, motherfuckers. So we got Dak, Lamb, Pickens. The only bad part is Dak is always getting hurt and, not that great. But wouldn't it be awesome if like a Dak combo leads me to playoff glory on this team? All the other QBs are just gone now. Bobby Wow was just hoping for Caleb Williams to get there. Now he just went into a panic. Who am I going to take? You didn't need to take a guy. You got Joe Burrow. Still some good ones left. I can't even play in this format because my Javonte Williams cheat code just never works because no one lets it. You guys just take him from me every time. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Yeah, I need more quarterback talent on this squad. We'll get T-Law going. Even though I can't stack him, it's really unstacked. Not helpful, but we'll get that going because I got nothing else to do. Yeah. Right. You got what I was going with? The scat man. I'm not going to do the scat. I'm not going to do it. No. If I did it, what would end up happening is Tattoo Freak would record that and just create like a meme making fun of me for doing it. So I'm not going to. No, that was definitely not MC Snow. Bro, come on. MC Snow, that's the Informer. Informer. A lucky boom boom down. MC Snow. Yes. No one knows who MC Snow is. Let me tell you a little MC Snow song. That Informer, that song, Murder She Wrote, MC Snow. That reminds me of my first vehicle ever. I was a senior, a junior. I was a junior in high school when that song came out. And I got an old, at the time it was like a 12-year-old Chrysler LeBaron. It was a pile of shit. Literally an abandoned vehicle that I like took over and just got it to drive. So I can, it was there in high school. Times were different then. Like we didn't have parents in the 90s who just like bought you a car when you could drive. That was not the norm. We didn't have that. Okay. So I got this piece of shit car. It was like $300. Used to break down all the time. And it didn't have a normal radio. It had like an AM. So I had to take it out and replace it with, there we go. That could be, Informer might not even be like protected. I might be able to play this on the show. So the Chrysler LeBaron, the best day of my life was getting my car. Freedom. Finally, didn't have to beg for rides. Me and my friends in high school, what we would do for rides is we would like befriend like a dorkier older kid who had a car and have them drive us around. Yeah, I know, Andrew. I know. Well, but listen, I got stories, bro. So you would befriend. Yeah, it was a piece of shit. This car was falling apart, but I had to pull out the radio, the AM, and put in like one with a cassette deck or whatever. I think it was a tape deck. You needed a tape deck. And I fucked that up. I like The car was always I put in big speakers. It was always popping fuses. Eventually that car burnt down. Like all the fuse work I did trying to get the radio in there actually burnt the engine. It caught fire. But I just remember driving to Taco Bell. So lunchtime at high school, going to grab my friends, and we'd pile in that piece of shit car, run to Taco Bell, some tacos. Get my guy Wandy. Yeah, back in the day, you bought a giant speaker and you put it in the trunk. Yeah, the car absolutely caught fire. Like it burnt. It's gone. It burnt down. Took about 4 months. It used to break down all the time. Like that car broke down on me all the time. Still the greatest car ever, though. But for some reason, the song Informer, that's what was on the radio at that time. So that's like when you mention that song, like that's what I remember. I remember the LeBaron. I'm just driving in the LeBaron. Yeah, fuck yeah, she's got a brand new car, and so does mine. Like now, you get your kid a new car. And by the way, if you even think about not getting your kid a new car, your wife starts giving you a hard time about like safety features and, oh, you can't give her a used car. They don't have the safety features. You have to be safe. It's our child. Times are different, man. There's none of that. My car would break down like in the middle of the Bronx at 2 a.m. Call my dad, like, can you help? He's like, no, fuck you. Figure it out. There was no help. There was no cell phone. Oh, 2 Live Crew. Yes. Bro, I walked around high school with 2 Live Crew banned in the USA on my Sony Walkman, just like blasting in my ear. Teacher be talking to me. She didn't know what was going on in my ear. It was like, pop that pussy, pop that pussy, baby. Like that's what I was listening to in school. If you've never heard 2 Live Crew banned in the USA, people, if you're watching this, like Andrew Nolan, you're younger. If you've never heard that, just type that shit in right now on YouTube. I don't even know where you can hear it, like Spotify. 2 Live Crew banned in the USA, the whole thing, start to finish. Yeah, 2 Live Crew. No one's ever heard these songs. If you're not from like a certain like window of years, you would have never heard this. And the biggest thing with that cassette at the time was it was banned in the USA, meaning like at that time, like Tipper Gore or whoever was the president, I think Bill Clinton was president, and Tipper Gore was the vice presidential wife. And she had this hair up her ass about like the lyrics in rap songs. So when 2 Live Crew came out, they put a label on it that this is banned and, you know, under 18, not allowed to buy it. That made everybody want to buy it. You got a LeBaron story? My LeBaron was not a convertible, Ray. It was the hardtop to make it less cool. At least the convertible one would have been cool. There was nothing cool about the one I drove. Share with us your convertible story in type. Demario Douglas. All right, let's get back to looking at this draft. Bobby Wow's just floundering over there, taking Demario Douglas. He doesn't know what's going on anymore. Matthew Stafford, not bad. Got Roche. All right, I got to look at who's available. What the hell I've got going on with my team. I've got 2 tight ends, 5 wide receivers, 4 running backs, 3 quarterbacks. So my quarterback position is full. Yeah. Explicit. Yeah, Tipper got that label on the 2 Live Crew album. That's what I'm saying. Tippy. What are you doing, tipster? Oh, whoa, I'm on the clock. I feel like let's go get a little weird with Kyle Pitts. I don't normally take Kyle Pitts. I think I took a tight end a little too soon there. The reason I did it is because I have Penix. So I don't know, at me if you want, but I did it and it happened and that's it. Couple rounds left. There's a lot of great hip hop from the early 90s was awesome. Two Life Crew. You had the sort of start of NWA and the whole Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Snoop. That whole group was coming up. Eminem was a little later. Def Row Records had other awesome shit like nice, not Nice and Smooth. Nate Dogg and the G Child. I forgot what they were called. Whole bunch of other, like on the East Coast, you had Nas and Wu-Tang came a little later. Nas and Biggie and all that came a little later. It's a great time for music. And then, of course, the early 90s, grunge. Grunge was really cool. So the way grunge came around in the early 90s, I remember all the shit. I came home from high school, like Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit came on. It would like change my life. I was like, what is this music? It was crazy. Like that specific song, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana, was like a life changer when you saw it. Like you'd come home from school and you'd watch MTV. Like that's what you'd have on. Yeah, Too Short, so much great hip hop. But it was like, for me, it was hip hop, but also I wasn't super into grunge. I was way more of the hip hop guy. But I appreciate now, especially in hindsight, the grunge side of things, because it went from like, you had to, if you lived it, it was like overnight. Yeah. It was like, if you lived grunge, I'm just going to share how this went. It was like overnight, it went from like rock being like Guns N' Roses and Skid Row and all these hair guys with their spandex suits on and all this, and their high voices, Bon Jovi, the hair. It like went from overnight that being awesome, White Snake or whoever the fuck those people were. Smells Like Teen Spirit came out, and the only band from the previous age that had any sort of cool left was Metallica. And I think it was because Metallica never got into the hair and all that bullshit. Every other quote unquote rock metal band gone. It was like 1989, top of the world. By 91, gone. Done. It like was rendered uncool. Like one fucking song from Nirvana, and then of course followed up by Pearl Jam, and then all that other shit was done. It was such a change. Wow. I thought these stories, Ray. So Ray says he's driving with his buddy. They got an old school brick of weed in the back. Cop pulls them over and says the old "give me the weed and I'll let you off the hook" thing. Which, really? Like, I thought that shit doesn't even go on anymore. I didn't even know. Like, I thought that was like a urban myth that a cop would do that. How do you just run into Gene Simmons? Like, what, are you at the supermarket, like the ShopRite, and Gene Simmons is there? Bobby, wow, it's awesome just to have you watching with us, man. I should have had you on the show. Never too much Bobby Wow. Never. Where are we at with this draft? I'm in, let's see. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I got 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. So we're in round 17. I've got 1 round left. Should be a spot to maybe grab another. Really? Comps fucking in the age of everything recorded. It's really tough if you're trying to be a corrupt police officer. Like, I feel bad for those guys, the corrupt police officers. It's harder now. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's recording your shit. Like, back in the day, you want to be a corrupt cop, you could just do whatever the fuck you want. No one paid attention. Throw some drugs in the back of the car. Like, bro, is that yours? You're going to jail. Give me some money. Now, it's much harder to be a corrupt cop. Oh, yeah. By the way, AC/DC, EAP, by the way, are you in here? I don't know which draft is yours. Let me know. But AC/DC is generally regarded as the top rock band of all time. When you look at the lists, of top band of all time, apparently it's always the number one always works out to be Queen right now. It's definitely not a band that I ever listened to. I never listened to Queen, never. So if that's the top band of all time, okay. But definitely AC/DC is usually number 2, and I do like their music. AC/DC was around forever. We'll do a little recap of this draft at the very, very end. Should I take Elic Eomanor? Just to like bring it around to something I talked about at the beginning? Yeah, let's give it a shot. Incredible. Are you in here with us? Incredible. Oh, I like the name. Edible. I like the name. Did not make it into this draft with us, though. But I like the name. Bobby Wow, finish it out. We're going to do a recap here. Yeah, 1996 was the shit. The 90s was the best. The 90s was so good. Here's my, you guys want to hear something? It's because of the name Eddie? I thought it's because of edibles. Or is it a play on that? So, oh, you're in here. Okay. 7-hole. All right, cool. So we're going to do a little draft recap here in a second, but I have to share this. I have a theory that the 90s was so awesome. There was all peace in the world, no worries, nothing. Everything was cool. We didn't have anybody to worry about. People, there was no war or anything. And what ended up happening is we had it too good. And then we had a whole fucking millennial generation that like had it so good in life that they just like look for shit to be pissed off about. Like they're like, man, shit's so fucking good. I want to be pissed off about something. So then they just start coming up with nonsense to be pissed off about. And at about 2010, all of a sudden, everybody was just pissed off about shit. And you're like, dude, what are you talking about? We were all just chilling 10 years ago, having a good time. All of Gen X is like, what the fuck are you guys even pissed about? What are you guys pissed about? The craziest thing we did in the 90s was like when Woodstock came around, they just started rioting at the end, like Limp Bizkit style. We just went Limp Bizkit on everything. Like, break your fucking face tonight. Give me something to break. Like, that was the 90s. We didn't give a shit. Everybody was just crazy. There was no activism. No one had a hair up their ass. Times have changed, guys. All right. Draft is done. Time for the review. And man, this is a big one. Incredibles in here too. Everybody was in the draft with us together. Everybody was here. Let's see how we did. Start with Bobby Wow. I thought it was a good start. Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Chase Brown. Love Chase Brown there. Garrett Wilson, yeah, of course, Chase, great. Xavier Worthy, really good pick there. And Joe Burrow with Chase, so that's fine. Could you have gotten T. Higgins? Probably. But I'm pretty good with this. Hopefully you got like a second piece to go with Joe Burrow, like a Gesicki later on. Let's see. We got Chase Brown with Swift and Jalen Warren. So relying on a pretty thin group of running backs, going to need some of these late guys to step up. Deebo Samuel's good. Mark Andrews, first tight end off the board, and then Tyler Warren. That's great. Bobby, I was kidding with you before, just breaking shit. This is a good draft. I don't know who you took in the last pick, but I think it's a fine draft overall. You're probably going to be having some issues with just Chase Brown and Swift, like a little too soft at running back for my taste. But some of these late picks will have to step up. Garendo, Tootin. This is the kind of team that doesn't look, these kind of teams, they never look great like right after you draft them, but it looks great when Garendo's the starter. So I like it. I think it's a good draft. Good job, Bobby Wow. Not a mess at all. I was just messing with you when I said that. It's really just a Mario Douglas, but like, who are you taking there? UCF, triple stud wide receiver start. Then George Kittle really waited a while for these running backs. So this is kind of what I would call a zero RB approach, which UCF, you seem to always do. If I remember correctly, that is like your thing. So you get Harvey, Montgomery, Caleb Johnson, Travis Etienne. I think it could work. I think this could work. Yeah, some touchdown scoring wide receivers late. Roshan Johnson, nice little backup play. So I like this draft for you, UCF. Again, these drafts, whenever you wait on running back, it's always going to look yeah, I like, guys got to learn to pass protect, but like, yeah, he could be awesome. I loved him. Then I was down on him. I was up on him. This is a bit too soon for him, though, probably. Who went after him? Kamara. I'd probably take Trevion. So for me, I've got Trey Henderson above RJ Harvey. Yeah. Pollock, all in on Philly. Let's see how this looks. We got Saquon, Jacobs, Kyron. You got Jalen Hurts paired with Saquon. With Devontae Smith. Nice little Philly mini stack. Olave and Diggs there. I like Diggs. Olave, we'll see how he does this year without a quarterback. Probably could have gotten Debo with that pick instead. I probably would have done that. I don't like Olave too much this year. Between the concussion injuries and no quarterback, I think it's sketchy. There's Mahomes. Do you have anything to go with Mahomes? So I feel like Mahomes here, you got Hollywood with him. All right. Mims Jr., definitely. These are all names I really like a lot. I didn't see, is there enough tight end? Ugh. Yeah. And then you kind of force the stack with Noah Gray. Yeah. I probably would have wanted a little more. Yeah, I would have taken, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing either. Let's get it real. But I would have taken Debo there. And I probably would have not taken Gray where you took him. I still would have looked for a quality tight end there. Look, at this point at 166, Pitts, Freiermuth, still on the board. You could have waited 5 more rounds and gotten Noah Gray probably. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. That's the only pick I really don't like. And I think the tight end group as a whole is questionable. It's amazing. I have like an hour and 45 minutes of talking, and then my voice just starts to go. Every time. It's like towards the end of these, I can only speak for that long. Maybe I speak more softly. I feel like the soft voice is not a very good podcasting voice. All right. Ivan Drago. Here we go. Bijan. Trey McBride. I like it. Stud. I think it's, a luxury tight end. Then we got Marvin Harrison. So I'm assuming we're building a Kyler Murray stack here. Ivan Drago, always very deliberate, always really good, always very thoughtful drafts. So we got Bijan paired with Walker, Joe Mixon. I don't love Mixon there. We'll see how that works out. But then we get Kyler Murray. Okay. Harrison, McBride, Murray. A little soft at wide receiver. Harrison, Myers. So we got to fill that out with Pittman, Coleman, little Dreezy Drake paired up with Kyle Williams and with Hunter Henry. And I love that pairing. Drake with Hunter Henry must pair. Get that other wide receiver from Arizona. Drago's doing it right, guys. Like you are a textbook drafter every single time. Thoughtful, well thought out, well put together. I really feel like Drago, you're going to place some of these in some place some of these lineups in some tournaments. Like I'm scared to go up against Drago. You might fuck up my whole. Some of you guys are really good at this. Like I hope you don't fuck up my whole advance rate because I got to go up against these well-crafted lineups. All right, so I come in. I start with CD. We got Bucky in there, Chuba, Devontae, and then I pair up CeeDee Lamb with Pickens. I get my main guy, Pearsall. I feel a little soft at running back coming out of this one. Feel a little soft with just, Bucky, Chuba, and Judkins. Judkins is not one of my favorites this year. He's the starter, but he also is on a really bad team. So I don't trust it. For sure. For sure we can get that going. I got to do more of remembering to ask a guest to come on, so you don't have to listen to my annoying voice for the whole time. Somebody else has something to say. And I always love hanging out with Bobby Wow and Ray. Both of you guys are awesome. All right. So anyway, I get my Dak combo going. I got T-Law in there as well. Trey Benson. So my backup running back situation looks good. Wandy Robinson. Every single fucking time, I'm going to keep taking him. We got Penix with Pitts. If I knew I was getting Penix, I might have done some other things. I got Diami with Trevor Lawrence. And there we go. All right, let's take a look at the edible team. I like edibles. Let's see if we like the edible team. Yeah. Can't be taking zeros. Unless Trey Benson comes on or one of the other guys. So we'll see. I didn't notice the bye week. Did they overlap? I forget to look. All right. Incredible. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Omarion Hampton. Oh, love Omarion. Couldn't believe you took him. Was waiting for Omarion at 44. I was upset. Wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. Got Sam Laporta, Josh Downs. Very good. We got Bo Nix going with Cortland Sutton. I hope you get Mims Jr. later on. But you did get J.K. Dobbins with that Knicks play. So a little Denver action here. Little Denver action. Bateman, no Mims Jr. Ooh, yeah. Not your fault. Did get Pat Bryant later on. That's good. Yeah, there's Pat Bryant in there. Thielen, really good early season guy. Russell Wilson, Tyler Shook. So filled in the QBs with some turds late. I think only one QB here might be a little concerning. But for the most part, this is a great Denver stack. Some other really solid wide receivers and great running backs. I think this team has a lot of potential. Got two more to look at here. Soups, of course. Ooh, almost a 0 RB for Soups. Interesting one. Henry and then Aaron Jones is the next one. So, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 picks before the second RB. Dangerous, but, I'd call it. These teams, the way a season goes in best ball, you can have a team that starts strong and then falls off. You can have a team that starts weak, and these I call it the 0 RB approach. Is usually you're looking for a team that comes on late in the season, but at the right time, surging. Trey Benson's activated and now a starter. Garendo or Mason now a starter, and that's how these teams that start slow, they come on late, and then they actually win the tournament. Think about your season-long fantasy football league. The last person you want to go up against is the guy who gets in on points, right? The 6th place team. 3rd place is always at a disadvantage. They always lose to the 6th place guy because the 6th place team is usually surging late. And so they lost some games early, but now they're scoring more than everybody. Should I keep Amon-Ra in the 1st, Godwin in the 6th, Spears in the 13, or Charbonnet in the 14? Super flex. Should I keep Amon-Ra? No. Godwin in the 6th? Probably no. Spears in 13 or Sharb in 14? Man, these are not good keepers, bro. I don't love these keepers at all. I mean, Amon-Ra kind of is acceptable in the 1st, but in Superflex, he's really going in round 2. So no. And then Godwin in round 6 in Superflex, no. He's like our 9th rounder. Sharps in 14, yes, why not? Yeah, right? Am I missing this? Yeah, Sharps in 14, I think I'm good with. But none of these. I don't like these keepers at all. Who's your wide receiver? Can you keep a quarterback? I don't like those keepers. No keepers. Sharps in 14, we keep that. Yeah, no keepers. All right, where were we? Derrick Henry. So, Soups, you really waited. I mean, Aaron Jones, bro. Jaden Daniels, no correlation from what I can see. Jaden Higgins there. JJ McCarthy, he goes with Addison and Hawkinson. So we got the Addison, Hawkinson, McCarthy stack. Jaden Daniels doesn't need to be stacked. That's fine. And then we go crazy on the running backs because you didn't take any early. Listen, this is an approach, like I said, I think it can win tournaments. It never looks good on paper right after it's done. It just never looks good. There's no other way to put it. JMM, Marion John. Yeah, Janty there and HN, spectacular. Tet McMillan, getting Lamar in round 4 is great. Yeah, I could have taken Naylor. But JMM and Lamar, Tet, love Tet. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers in a row. Still, so, and then Javonte Williams, which I was going to wait, but yeah, you can't wait anymore. Javonte, can't wait on him. Shaheed, Leggett, big play guys with Bryce Young. I think this is cool. Jalen Wright. You backed up HM with Wright. This is the one exception I'll make to the backup thing because I think Jalen Wright is just starting anyway. Like, I think not starting, but I think he's useful anyway. That's the one thing I'd say about Jalen Wright with HN. I don't actually mind that one because Wright is going to be on the field getting 12, 14 carries anyway. Mostert had big weeks where he popped for touchdowns, and there were times when Mostert and HN went off together. So I don't mind this one at all. Braylon Allen, also a really good handcuff type player to take late. Bunch of tight ends. Just Lamar and Bryce Young. So yeah, I'm cool with that. Just 2 quarterbacks when you have Lamar as one of them. I'm good with that. Oh, I didn't even notice Lamar stacked with Flowers. Did we get any other pieces with Lamar? Not really. Yeah. All right. So there we go, guys. That's going to do it. Second Draft-a-Palooza, like a fucking DFS Army extravaganza. I don't have any Rico. If you're talking about Rico Dowdle, I don't have a single share of him. Not one. Should you be nervous? No, you're probably taking him late, but I don't have him at all. No great reason other than I just don't. I guess he's a great backup for Chuba. So, like, he's just a backup guy. Yeah, I don't think you get nervous. But no. For Rico Dowdle to be relevant, though, Chuba Hubbard has to get hurt. But that can happen. He's a good backup. It's a matter of fact, I should take some of him. But don't take him on the same team that has Chuba Hubbard on it. Because the guy, 700,000 other people are going to have him without Chuba Hubbard. Just keep that in mind. Every time you do one of those DraftKings ones, keep in mind 800,000 people are going to have Rico Dowdle on their team one way or the other. So get him alone. Yeah, there we go. Get this man some likes. Smash the thumbs up. Share the video. We're out here doing these videos. I'm going to have some scripted stuff, some top 10, some regular ranking stuff coming out here in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're kind of sticking around, watch the channel, all that good stuff. Guys, if you're not a DFS Army subscriber, also stay tuned. We're going to do the year-long promotion, like the 12-month package early. Why wait? Why wait? I'll do a special early season discount. You get the full 12 months of NFL. It'll cover. I'm trying to convince them to include college football. Stay tuned. We'll see. So, because we have awesome college football coverage at DFS Army. Awesome. So, there we go. AP prep class. Should I be standing up in front of a whiteboard doing these? Should I be like a teacher, like a prep teacher? Anyway, I'm starving. Voice is going. So let's call it a day, guys. We'll see you back here on Monday. Draft-a-Palooza continues all summer long. Take care, everybody.